When I look at the world that you have made, I see the stars. I hear the rolling thunder. Throughout the universe display. Hey, then sings my soul.
Hello, family. My soul. Savior God is thee. How great God is. He's wonderful. He's magnificent. He's omnipresent. He's omniscient. He's everywhere. We're just glad to be here with you. We ought to be grateful of the goodness of God. And so I just want to come to encourage you just for a few minutes and just give you a few announcements. Cloverland, amen. And let you listen to the praise.
God is able, yeah. Faces you say, God is able, yeah. God is able, yeah. Soprano sing, tell them that God is able.
While you listen to the praise, turn with me to 1 Corinthians 4. 1 Corinthians 4, verses 2. Didn't your God able? You ought to give him all the praise and honor. Give him all the glory. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for just being blessed and faithful to us, oh God. Even in the midst of the storm right now, we ask that you be in all our lives. That you guard everybody's hearts and minds in you. That you look up, they look up to the hills from which come their help. And that you guard look over their homes, look over their lives, look over their children. Look over their families, look over their jobs. And for those who are jobless, we ask that you bless them where they're able to find work, that they're able to find some stability in their home, their lives. Restore people who have lost their health. And if it be thy will, oh God. And for those who lost loved ones, we ask that you intervene, that you comfort their hearts. God of Jesus. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. God is able, y'all. I hope you are encouraged today. Because my God is able. If he can do it for me, I know he can do it for you. Just trust him. Trust him right now. Trust him with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And give him your life. You may be quarantining right now, but I tell you, God can be in the midst of your quarantine. God can be in the midst of your job. You not being able to support your family, God can be in the midst. I just thank you for being with me today and listening to. I'm the minister of Cloverland. And for those of our members, we want to say thank you for listening to this message. I want to do to just say to Cloverland, thank you for being faithful in the midst of our trying times. And what I mean by that, Cloverland, is that at this time, we are getting great responses through via our social media sites and as well as our YouTube page and on our web page. We're getting a lot of views, as you well may know and have heard of. On last, we've tried this new thing the past 3 weeks, and the first week, which was audio, we had like over 300 listeners on our website to join our website and to listen to our first message. And then last Sunday, we had over 400 views on our YouTube page on our message, and this week we're already at 200, if I'm not mistaken. But that is wonderful. We're reaching a lot of people, and we just hope and pray that those we are reaching will join us, if the Lord's will would allow us to be back together. I just wanted to say that we have been missing you, and if it's God's will that we are coming back to our worship services pretty soon. Hope and pray that as well. I did want to just kind of encourage you, but I also wanted to this update Cloverland as well, not only on our responses, but our church project. As I had mentioned, through our automation system that, and as well on our Wednesday night classes, we have started the building project, which we are grateful of doing that. We are in the phase right now where we are allowing the architect to draw out our building so that we can present that to the congregation. That's our first phase. And then the second phase will be that once everyone approves it, as well as Solomon, who are our lenders, we will go to our second phase, which is picking out our colors as far as flooring, etc. Which our team, we have a specific team, we're gonna pick and do that. And so we'll keep everyone updated. We're just grateful and thankful of you, Cloverland, most importantly, of your faithfulness to join us every Sunday via social media and YouTube. Also, your faithfulness to God in giving. Our contribution has dropped just a little bit, but we are reaching our budget, and we ought to be grateful of that. We are reaching our budget each week, and our members are giving faithfully to make sure that our bills are continue to be paid, and we ought to be grateful of that at the building, so that when we do come back, we continue to move forward if God submits it and allows us to do so. And so we just continue to say thank you for being faithful to God while we're going through these trying times. And just want to say that we love you and just hope that we get back pretty soon. And for those, I have been receiving some calls, and we are saddened just about some are looking for work in amongst our fellowship and have lost work, and so we ought to want to keep those people, our members, in prayer and our thoughts. And if I was made known, please don't hesitate. If there's any of our members who are in need of any canned goods, or I think we have a few frozen meats in our pantry, please don't hesitate to contact Brother Harris, Brother Williams, or Brother Bobby or Newhouse, and they can help assist you in that manner. And so we just want to be remembering our members in this time, and help those who we can at this time. But I want you to turn to 1 Corinthians 4, verse 2. Real quickly, and I'm going to give you a quick devotion, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening. 1 Corinthians 4 verse 2 says this. It says, I'm reading the New King James Version. It says, moreover, it is required in stewards. Who are the stewards? You and I. We are stewards of Christ. And it says, moreover, it is required. It is required. It's not. It's not a basically afterthought or anything like that nature. But more, it is required. It is something that God looks for in His stewards, in His servants, to do, that one be found faithful. And so I want to talk about how we can remain faithful during these trying times. How can we remain faithful during these trying times? I want you to be encouraged, but and also don't give up during these times. And I know that it can be real hard as we deal with this thing we're dealing with at this time. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of our members or a lot of people in the world, as we see the deaths toll rise, and that can bring fear in our hearts, and that can bring concern and doubt and things like that of that nature. We just want to let you know that we're praying wholeheartedly for you and your family, for your well-being, and we just want to encourage everybody. Let's continue to pray for one another, that God protects His people, and during these trying times. Even though, yes, some we don't know how we may pay our bills or get food on our table due to us not working, us being shut in, not wanting to leave the home. I just want to encourage you, just keep praying. Just keep praying, because God is in the midst of this. God is in control, and He knows what He's doing. And so Paul tells the church here in Corinth, he tells these servants, these stewards of God, let a man so consider us as a servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God, found in Jesus in the gospel. But in verse 2 it says, moreover, it is required in steward that one be found faithful. In the early 1800s, church, a preacher gave a message to call men to join him on the mission field in Africa. And in the audience, there were only a few women along with a boy, and the minister knew that few women were experienced to volunteer to face harsh jungle conditions. But however, church, he gave the message and no one responded. And so what he didn't realize was that he had touched the heart of a little boy whose name was David Livingstone. And this boy would grow up and spend the rest of his life ministering to Africa's unreached tribes. And David Livingstone was touched by the faithfulness of a minister who gave his message when there seemed to be no obvious fruit from its delivery. And that made all the difference. And so the lesson is this, is we are not in charge of results, church. We're not in charge of what's going to happen. We're not in charge of what our country is going to decide to do. We're not in charge of what CDC regulations are going to come out with, etc. We're not in charge of the results, but only responsible to be faithful to what God has given us to do. And God tells us to be faithful at this time. And so you may not be seeing any fruit. You may not be seeing money coming. You may not be seeing a job to contact you, or your supervisor may lay you off, etc. You may not be seeing any fruit from your obedient labor at the moment. You may be obedient to Christ. It may appear next week. It may appear next year or a century from now, but in its time, the fruit will appear if you're faithful. And so that's what Corinth says. It's and also, if we're faithful, we'll understand. We'll see the glory by and by. And so it may be greater than you could ever have imagined. When this thing all boils down to, heaven will, church, one day reveal the fruit of lives we have touched by our faithfulness. And so I wanted to encourage you today and do this week until I hope y'all see you Wednesday Bible class on our Zoom. I want to encourage you to be encouraged. Don't give up. Your faithful stewardship will produce its true harvest, which we never fade or pass away. Okay? Don't give up, church. Don't give up. Hold on to God's unchanging hand. And so that's my message for you today. I hope you're encouraged. God bless you. Have a wonderful week. See you Wednesday. God bless.